This is for Maccabees chapter 2. And why is it amazing that the desires of the mind for the enjoyment of beauty are rendered powerless? It is for this reason, certainly, that the temperate Joseph is praised, because by mental effort he overcame sexual desire. For when he was young and in his prime for intercourse, by reason he nullified the frenzy of his passions. Not only is reason proved to rule over frenzied urge of sexual desire, but also over every desire. Thus the law says, "You shall not covet your neighbor's wife," or anything that is your neighbor's. In fact, since the law has told us not to covet, I could prove to you all the more that reason is able to control desires. Just so it is with emotions that hinder one from justice. Another, how could it be that someone who is habitually a solitary gourmandizer, a glutton, or even a drunkard can learn a better way unless reason is clearly lord of the emotions? Thus, as soon as a man adopts the way of life in accordance with the law, even though he is a lover of money, he is forced to act contrary to his natural ways, and to lend without interest to the needy, and to cancel the debt when the 7th year arrives. If one is greedy, he is ruled by law through his reason, so that he neither gleans his harvest nor gathers the last grapes from the vineyard. In all other matters, we can recognize that the reason rules emotions, for the law prevails even over affection for parents, so that virtue is not abandoned for their sakes. It is superior to love for one's wife, so that one rebukes her when she breaks the law. It takes precedence over love for children, so that one punishes them for misdeeds. It is sovereign over the relationship of friends, so that one rebukes friends when they act wickedly. Do not consider it paradoxical when reason, through the law, can prevail even over an enemy. The fruit of the tree of the enemy are not cut down, but one preserves the property of his enemies from the destroyers and helps raise up what has fallen. It is evident that reason rules even the more violent emotions: lust for power, vainglory, boasting, arrogance, and malice. For the temperate mind repels all these malicious emotions, just as it repels anger, for it is sovereign even over this. When Moses was angry with Dathan and Abraham, he did nothing against them in anger, but controlled his anger by reason. For as I have said, the temperate mind is able to get the better of the emotions, to correct some and to render others powerless. Why else did Jacob, our most wise father, censure the households of Simeon and Levi for their irrational slaughter of the entire tribe of the Shemechemites, saying, "Cursed be their anger"? For if reason could not control anger, he would not have spoken thus. Now, when God fashioned man, he planted in him emotions and inclinations, but at the same time he enthroned the mind among the senses as the sacred governor over them all. To the mind he gave the law, and one who lives subject to this will rule a kingdom that is temperate, just, good, and courageous. How is it then, one might say, that if reason is master of emotions, it does not control forgetfulness and ignorance? This notion is entirely ridiculous, for it is evident that reason rules not over its own emotions, but over those of the body. No one of us can eradicate the kind of desire, but reason can provide a way for us not to be enslaved by desire. No one of us can eradicate anger from the mind, but reason can help deal with anger. No one can eradicate malice, but reason can fight at our side so that we are not overcome by malice. For reason does not uproot the emotions, but it is their antagonist. Now, this can be explained more clearly than the story of King David's thirst. David had been attacking the Philistines all day long, and together with the soldiers of his nations had slain many of them. And when evening fell, he came, sweating and quite exhausted, to the royal tent around the whole army of our ancestors had encamped. Now all the rest were at supper, but the king was extremely thirsty, and although springs were plentiful there, he could not satisfy the thirst. But there was a certain irrational desire for the water in the enemy's territory tormented and inflamed him, and undid and consumed him. When his guards complained bitterly because of the king's craving, two staunch young soldiers, respecting the king's desire, armed themselves fully, and, taking a pitcher, climbed over the enemy's ramparts, eluding the sentinels at the gates. Then they went searching throughout the enemy camp and found the spring, and from it boldly brought the king a drink. But David, although he was burning with thirst, considered it an altogether fearful danger to his soul to drink what was regarded as equivalent to blood. Therefore, opposing reason to desire, he poured out the drink as an offering to God. For the temperate mind can conquer the drives of the emotions and quench the flames of the frenzied desires, and it can overthrow bodily agonies even when they are extreme, and by the nobility of reason spurn all domination by the emotions. The present occasion now invites us to a narrative demonstration of a temperate reason. At a time when our fathers were enjoying profound peace because of their observance of the law, they were prospering, so that even Nicanor, king of Asia, had both appropriated money to them for the temple service and recognized their commonwealth. Just at the time, certain men attempted a revolution against the public harmony and caused many various disasters.